What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Fig Heel YouTube channel. And today I'm going to be doing something different. This is the first episode of Ask Heel Anything. Now, I've been toying with the idea of doing this because I get so many questions on Instagram and YouTube that I figured I would throw out some feelers. So I threw out an Instagram post, a YouTube post, Facebook, Twitter, asking you guys to ask a question of something you want me to answer in a video, and I'll shout you out. And I was expecting 10, maybe 15 questions tops. Guys, total, there was like 100 questions. It's not possible for me to get to them all in one episode. So I'm gonna break this up into a few episodes of Ask Heel Anything. If I don't get to your question today, I will. What I did was I printed out all of the questions, cut them out, and put them in my handy dandy Stone Cold Steve Austin cookie jar that I dropped when I moved in and had to super glue it together. Sad day that was. So without further ado, we're not gonna waste any more time. We're gonna get right into these questions, doing them rando. So let's see. Gonna probably do like 15, maybe 20 questions or so. First up, Diabolic Fury on Instagram. Did you see it because you were demented, or were you demented because you saw it? I have no idea what that means, but Diabolic Fury, what's up, man? Weird question. Hopefully the next one's figure related. Latin Lucha World. What's up, Latin Lucha World? What got you into collecting figures? Well, I feel like that's such a broad topic, but what gets anybody into collecting figures is being a fan of the product that the figures are based off of. So I've been a huge wrestling fan my whole life. My father was, my brothers were, so it was just a part of our family. So being a wrestling fan and being a kid, that's all it took. Playing with the toys as a kid, and then I just never gave it up. What do we got here? Oh, man. 1, 2, 3, 5, YYY, GFD, JJJ, HFF, HHHHHHH, CCFD, 5J, 55 says, hey, Fig Heel, do you think they will make a Omis action figure of AJ Styles' bodyguard? Absolutely. They have to. He's on TV nonstop. And I clearly think that he's not just going to be AJ Styles' bodyguard. It's going somewhere. And the problem with that is that I think that we're going to have to wait a little while because he's so tall and he has such a different body. You can't just throw him on a Big Show body. So there's going to be a lot of tooling that goes along with that. I do think we will see a figure of him because I really think they have big plans for this guy. But I don't think it'll be very soon because a lot of tooling is going to go into that figure. Thank you for the question. A lot of letters in that one, that name. What's this? V-Lee Drums. If Ringside announced that they were going to do a one-time limited run of either BCAs, TTLs, or RA figures, which line would you cast your vote for? Thanks for being a cool dude and letting me chat with you about figs here and there. No problem, man. That's what I'm here for. I love chatting figs with you guys. That's what we're all here for. We're in this community together for the same hobby that we all enjoy. So, let's enjoy it together. But if Ringside was going to do a one-off set with Mattel, I would definitely go for BCAs. I don't think there's a big enough following for Titantrons, and I don't have an attachment to them. Same thing with Ruthless Aggression. I grew up with my prime time was BCA, so I would want some updated BCA style figures. Ethan.May12. Best way to display mock figures in comparison to loose figures. Where do you get the bookshelves and how much do they cost? The bookshelves I actually got from Walmart. They're called Mainstays, but they changed the dimensions of them. They're much smaller now. They used to be $24. Now I think they're like 28 or 30 bucks, and they're much smaller than the ones I have. I got lucky and I got them right before they changed the dimensions and the price. Best way to display mock figures, it's up to you. I really like my retail wall. I like my bookshelves, how I display them library style. It's all about preference. There is no best way to do any of this. I like hanging some of them on the wall, kind of like a poster, in order of release. It's all about what you prefer. It also has a lot to do with how much room you have to display. So, got to take all those factors into consideration. UK Star Wars collector, who has never had a figure that you think should have? I know I can't say this is the number one person, but there's one person that there was rumored to be a figure, and I really, really wanted it because it was going to be so different than anything we've ever gotten and have gotten up to this point, and that was Zach Gowen. I remember they were talking about they were working on a Zach Gowen figure, and I thought that would be so cool because I was so curious how they were going to make that work. You know what I mean? He has one leg, and he would wrestle with one leg. So I was curious, how were they going to do the tooling to try and make sure that the weight distribution was correct for him to stand? So I always wanted that Zach Gowen. Unfortunately, it got canceled, and he hasn't gotten a figure since. But I do think he kind of deserves one. Some of those matches were very, very impressive to watch that he did. World Wrestling Flashback says, when did you start building your collection? Dude, my whole life, since I was a kid. I mean, I inherited my brother's LJNs. Some of my first toys were WWF Hasbros that my dad got, and I still have great memories of my dad coming home from work or whatever he was doing and bringing home figures. I have a distinct memory of him bringing home Rowdy Roddy Piper when he finally found Piper. And I was little, man, so as far back as I can remember. Sugar Bear 6478. What's your most expensive item? Why were you willing to pay that for that particular item? My most here's the thing, is that I have items that are worth a lot of money, but I'm very smart with my investments and I never pay what they're worth, if that makes sense. So I bought, some of my green cards, I would say, are definitely the most expensive I've spent on them, but I still didn't pay what they were worth. 123 Kid was a gift, and that was way before it shot up to the $1,000 range. I spent a lot of money on Yokozuna, but I mean, just a couple $100. Nothing crazy. I never spent a crazy amount. I think the most I ever spent on a figure was $250. And I have some pretty valuable pieces that are worth way more than that. So, Keith DeRosas. Do you miss the days of no internet and fig hunting at KB Toys and Toys R Us? This generation will never understand the struggle, LOL. This is a great question, and the answer is absolutely. I can't explain, like, if you didn't grow up in the era, if you've always grown up with internet, I can't explain how great it was to be able to go into a toy store, to have your parents bring you, and, you don't really know what's going to be there. You don't know what's coming out because we weren't notified of stuff like that. We didn't get advertisements and such. And by the time they made it to the magazines, we already saw them on the pegs. So it was very cool to be able to walk in and be like, oh my God, they have this person, they have this person, they have this person. Jax is probably the first in wrestling figures that started to spoil upcoming sets. And I remember one Christmas, I believe it was 98 or 99, I can't remember, probably 99. No, 98. Yeah, 98, because I think it was like Fully Loaded or something. And on the back of the card was Superstar Series 7, I believe. Whichever set had X-Pac and Edge. And I remember I got these figures and I turned them over and I was like, oh my God, they're making X-Pac, they're making Edge. I couldn't believe it. And it was so exciting. I literally took the figure off the card, brought the backing card with me to Christmas dinner with my whole family, and I literally all night just stared at the backing card because I couldn't believe what figures were coming, and I couldn't wait for them to be in stores. But that was like the first time we first started getting notified of what was to come. Before that, like, Hasbro's and such like that, is when they showed up, that's when you found out what the new figures were going to be. And that's kind of cool. But yeah, those days are long gone. Even if you try not to be spoiled, it's very difficult with the internet these days. Figs wrestle figs. Advice for young collectors. Yes, don't get caught up in value. If you're starting off and you're a new collector, my number one advice that I give everybody is only buy the figures that you want. I get a lot of people asking me, should I buy this figure? Will it be worth a lot of money? Don't worry about that. Buy the figures that you like. Don't buy what everybody else likes. Create your own collection and then take it from there. Don't base what you do off of what other people do. Buy what you like, pick out what you like, and build your own collection. Make it unique to you. Too much emphasis on value now that it's almost becoming a flex. I have some valuable stuff, but that's not the only reason I get them. There's some valuable figures that I just don't see the value in and I don't want in my collection personally. But, teach their own. Don't only go after value, go after what you want. Quality over quantity. Movie John, any collecting goals for 2021, like completing a certain series or buying some big pieces for your collection? Yeah, I absolutely hope that I can find an AEW Unrivaled Chase or Rare figure in the store. I really want, this goes back to the last question, I really want a 1 of 500 Cody Rhodes figure, but it is not worth $1,000 to me. I think that is way overpriced, and it's not something I'm willing to pay, and I don't think that it's going to be worth that in the long run, so I won't pay those prices for it. I think my days of being able to find that figure in stores are probably behind me. However, in 2021, I would like to be able to find a AEW Chase in stores just because the thrill of finding something like that is unmatched. It's a great feeling when you find a 1 of 500 or a Chase figure. It's very exciting. And I love the AEW line, and I would really like to add some of those Chases to my collection. Initially I wanted to be able to get them all, but it's just not going to be possible. So I would like to find at least one. Don't care if it's a 1 of 500 or 1 of 1,000, or when the numbers go up, as Jeremy said. I don't care. I just want to find one. I want that excitement. I want that thrill. Next up, we got John Hayes 727. Why do you think AEW figures are literally in 0 stores? Well, anytime that there's interest in something, people are going to want it. Okay, so John, so you and I, we want these figures, right? We want them for our collection. So we're going and looking for them. However, when there's something that's in high demand, okay, the only factors are not the people who want them for their own well-being and their own collections. Once something is very sought after, that's when scalpers come in, that's when resellers come in, and they make it very difficult. Not to mention COVID-19 made distribution for action figures this year very, very difficult. It was hard to find anything in stores anywhere of any line. I mean, my Walmarts are constantly cleaned out. Nothing can stay on the shelves because they're not producing enough and not distributing enough to be able to fill the pegs in general, let alone keep figures on the pegs. Not to mention these are highly sought after, so we get that factor of resellers coming in. Again, I am not a scalping or a scalper basher. I get it. I get why people do it. I mean, people lost their jobs this year, and a lot of people jumped into the scalping game. People who were collectors jumped into the scalping game. I get it. The thing is about scalpers is they're only going to get what people are willing to pay. So it's hard for me to look at somebody who's selling a 1 of 500 Cody Rhodes figure for $1,000 and be mad at them because there's people that are paying that. And the thing about value on a figure, the value on a figure is set by the consumer who's willing to pay that price. So what that means is I can't really be mad at the reseller. If I'm going to be mad at anybody in that situation, it's at the guy who's just throwing money around and making that $1,000 figure. And that's exactly what happened. When Ringside sold the 1 of 1,000 Jerichos, they went up, sold for $100. Someone immediately put Jericho up for $800. And what they did is they set the market for those figures, because up until then, there was no one of 1,000 Jerichos on eBay. So this guy who got it and put the first one up for $800, he set the standard for the market, okay? The person who bought it solidified that standard. And after that person bought it, people saw, holy crap, it's going for $800. I'm putting mine up there. And that night, I must have seen 4 or 5 sell for that much. Obviously now it's around $250 to $300 for that figure. Still kind of overpriced, I think. But the standard of how much something sells for is set by the consumer. Always remember that, okay? If we don't want to pay that price, then maybe we should all band together and not pay that price. But there's always going to be big spenders. It is what it is. After all, the longer it stays at that value, it becomes its solidified value. Kahuna 090, who is your favorite wrestler of all time? Stone Cold Steve Austin. Favorite era? The Attitude Era. Favorite belt? The Winged Eagle or the Purple Intercontinental, believe it or not. Pay-per-view, Royal Rumble, year 1998. Love the 1998. WrestleMania 14 is my favorite. Mark Huggins 12. Wife says, figs or me. What time is she leaving? Yesterday. And once she gets all of her stuff out of the closet, I'm going to be putting in some new shelving. Figs for days. Funny question. Ramon.e.miranda.1. Any figures you always wanted but can actually live without it? For example, I always fell in love with a mint on card Dusty more than any green card or mail away, but probably won't be able to afford it or find it mint for under $1,500. Just had this conversation with my boy Fig Vault. I would love a mint on card Dusty, but I would never pay that price for it. It's very difficult for me to justify that. However, anytime I see one up for raffle in some of the Facebook groups I'm in, I always jump on that because, for $20, the chance of winning it, it's pretty good. I've won some really good figures that way. I'm going to do a couple more and then we're going to wrap this up. Hoang Nguyen 12. What is the best way of starting a collection, displaying your figures? I just started collecting and I'm having a lot of fun collecting, but I don't know how to pose them well. I'm not a good poser. I'm a very arms down, legs straight, looking forward poser. If you look at my collection of loose figures, I just like, what I like about it? I like the army look, the uniform look of all of them being in the same pose. However, there's a couple guys that I'll put in specific poses that are very, very unique to them, like Stone Cold Steve Austin with his arms up, or Zack Ryder with the woo-woo-woo hand. Or I have like Darren Young, and he's got like his hair pick, and it looks like he's picking his hair. Really cool stuff like that. But for the majority, I keep the arms down facing forward. And I say get a shelf. Start off with one shelf, pose that way. I started small. I did not always have this. So start small. Don't think big, start small. How do you support this habit? Ed Tuscan, what do you do for a living? Can't tell you that. But I work a very regular job. I am not a millionaire. I am not even 100,000-aire. I'm just very smart with my money and my investments outside of my job that I could make this very possible. And also, I've been collecting my whole life, so a lot of this stuff has been accrued over many, many years. And once upon a time, before the past couple of years, eBay used to be your best friend. Flea markets used to be your best friend. You could get stuff for very cheap. You could buy huge lots of figures for very cheap. Those days are kind of behind us now, sadly. But I support the habit on a very, very basic job. Yeah, I do well, but I'm not rich by any means. LMW Wrestling YT, advice for young collectors. We already went over that. Think big and start small. Start basic, figure out what you want, and make your collection unique to you. Samson 55308. Who are your favorite wrestlers of all time? Singles, tag team, and women. Okay, so I kind of answered this for singles. My favorite singles of all time is Stone Cold Steve Austin. My favorite tag team of all time is Demolition. And I'm going to go with Demolition as a trio. Any combination, whether it be Axe and Smash, smash and crush. And women's, I'm going to have to say Charlotte Flair. I do think that she is the GOAT as far as women's wrestling is concerned. Warrior J85. If we had gotten another Galoob series, WWE series, say from the 1992 roster, who would be your top 3 you would have wanted to see? Man, that's tough. I'm bad with years. I'm very bad with years, but I'm pretty confident that I know that Stunning Steve Austin was there. I would absolutely need one of those. Maybe a Mean Mark. 92 was... In 92, maybe Jake the Snake. Was he there yet? I don't know. But definitely Mean Mark, definitely Stunning Steve. Either Jake the Snake. Oh, man, I'm so bad. 1992. Trying to think who was there. That was a big star. I mean, Paul Lee would have been cool. Yeah, so I'm going to go with that. Definitely Mean Mark, Stunning Steve. No, wait, 1992, Mean Mark wasn't there anymore. What am I talking about? He was long gone. Man, that's so hard. I'm bad with years, guys. I'm bad with years. Definitely Stunning Steve. Chris Goodwin, 300. When are the WWE Elite Ultimate Ric Flair and Steve Austin figures going up for pre-order? I have no idea. I don't have that kind of connection with Ringside, but I'm sure it's going up soon. We'll do one more. We have A-Rad WWE. Your first WWE figure you buy. I don't know my first WWE figure I buy, but I know the first WWE figures that my parents bought for me were Hasbro WWF Series 1. I believe Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior. So, yeah, so I'm going to do another one of these. I hope you guys liked putting the lid on Ask Heel Anything. I hope you guys liked the first edition of Ask Heel Anything. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at FigHeel and at Unreleased Wrestling Figs. Check out the Unreleased Wrestling Figure Coloring Books, volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4, as well as Color Mania, which features the first 3 volumes for a discounted price. And go to ProWrestlingTees.com/FigHeel for all your merchandise needs. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy. Tune in for episode 2 of Ask Heel Anything. Coming soon. Peace. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at FigHeel and at Unreleased Wrestling Figs. And you can visit the merch store at Pro Wrestling Tees and check out the Unreleased Wrestling Figure Coloring Books available now on Amazon.com, including Prime shipping.